All right. All right. You're back. How you doing, amigo? How you doing? Gather around. Let's talk real quick. What happened to Wolfspeed? All right. You may have heard of, or you may not. It's fine whether you hold bags or you're interested in it. Something to learn from this. All right. You may come across other company, other projects with similar situation. Doesn't look so good at all. Like if you look at them, oh my goodness. I mean, how do you process this? Oh yeah, in crypto we have seen this 100 times. Like Terra Luna or whatever Juno from $40 to 1 cent, micro sub cent. So nothing new for us, right? However, before I begin, all right, I want to give you a little bit of 2 cents about GME and AMC. I've been a holder for quite some time. The squeeze, it got squashed. I don't know, when is the squeeze? Stay tuned. I'm going to do a video on this. I just feel like we were played big time. I mean, let's not even debate, man. Roaring Kitty coming up, randomly talking about Jamie, then also talked about Chewy. Chewy makes more sense to me, all right? Somehow it just moved from $30 to 47, which is crazy. And then the CEO, if I'm not wrong, sold some millions of dollars, 8 million or something of the share. Why are the CEOs selling at this moment? That's one. But second, Jamie, I think that made the worst mistake of getting into so-called crypto. I don't know, whatever just did. I don't see a future. I could be 100% wrong, but on this situation, in this situation, I don't think so. AMC got played with AMC, man. Look at the, like, I still remember 2021, Adam Aaron was doing interviews with some of the YouTubers who literally started their channel within a year, took it to 500,000 trace. Remember? They made millions just by shorting and longing AMC while feeding us all the crap. It's always us, right? The retail we have to lose something for them to make everything. Why? Because we are acting like fools, not educating ourselves. We are not taking a step back. We always just rushing aggressively because of our testosterone, right? It's always kicking in. Every time our hands are itchy to buy something. Like Charlie Munger said, patience is the ultimate key. And yeah, while everyone is just running around, that's the truest art, if you understand how it works. So, keeping all that aside, I'll do a video on that. I feel like Jamie would be one of the biggest bag holders of the generation, unfortunately. A lot of people bought it at high, and not only buying it at time high or low, people are just waiting for something to happen. And when you kind of know what's happening behind the table, I'm like, okay, time is the ultimate truth, and why would I waste like decades of my time waiting on something which is fugazi, right? So, Wolfspeed. Let's talk about Wolfspeed real quick. Look at this here. Wolfspeed Inc. And let me tell you a little bit of story, real quick story. I had a buy order, all right, buy limit. At one, it was at $2 something. It was at $2.60 because this was at $3 something. I thought I will just trade back and forth a little bit. I've heard about Wolfspeed. I was like, this has some float. It would be nice. I didn't know much about the company in terms of, and that was one of my biggest mistakes as well. Something to learn from this. Understand the company's history, the CEO's earnings, and quite a bunch of stuff. Just because the chart tells you something means nothing. All right? I'm not one of those who will pull out the chart out of, and be like, hey, this is this Hibanachi, this is that, Fibonacci, Hibanachi. No. I only go to Hibachi and have food. That's all matters to me. All right? But still, to some level, it does matter. Like they say, oh, this is the most bought. Right now, the machine is going to go reverse. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But I'm just saying, all right? Keeping it real, you have to understand the history of the company, the team, CEO. That's very important. And when you know about Ryan Cohen, when you know about Roaring Kitty, I mean, right? So this Wolfspeed, it was doing decent, meaning I don't even care. It dropped from 142. But the fact, look at this here. All right. See this? It was going back and forth. So I thought I'll just buy and sell out. Make a couple of $100, short-term trade and whatnot. Then what happened was I had a limit at 260 or whatever, right? Because I thought it's going to drop to some level and I'm going to pick it up. Not excessively, but I had like several $100s. And unfortunately, it didn't drop to 230. It went all the way down to 80 cents. I mean, that was one of the craziest thing ever. I think I got rid at $1.20 at a loss, without a doubt. And now it's sitting at $1.67. Pre-market. Wow. I mean, I don't know. Literally, look at this. This is the bottom. 88 cents. And you know what happened? This was, okay, let me show you this. 7 days ago. Wolfspeed, first of all, they were supposed to file for bankruptcy. Let's check on some of the, I don't know why the event is not coming up. The more events. Look at the changes that's happening. Review. Barron's did a review, okay? And what is this review? On Monday, markets digested Moody's US downgrade. Yeah. It's not telling us anything about Wolfspeed here. But they actually downgraded. They literally said Wolfspeed is, most of the analysts says it's a sell, sell, sell. It's not a buy, it's a sell, sell, sell. All right. Keeping that aside, Wolfspeed names Kevin Spirits as interim CFO. They're naming new CEOs, new CFOs, new COO, David Emerson. And if I'm not too sure if the CEOs actually did a buyback and pushed the price up to like 173 or something. And then again, irony, the company was supposed to file for bankruptcy. Again, they said they made some mistake. So the reason I'm doing this video, of course, learn from my mistakes. I'm at a loss. If I even sold at this 160, I would still be at a loss. But it's just disgusting. Lesson learned, meaning be careful where you set the limit. Because I set a limit pre-market and they heard about bankruptcy or whatever, and see how retail acted. They literally dumped from this to this right here. From $3.70, it drops all the way to $1 something. I mean, that's not a joke. That's like $200-300% gain wiped out, right? So now the point is it's going back and forth for whatever reason. So let's see what's happening. And what I'm going to do is right now is use Grok just out of curiosity. So what is happening to Wolfspeed after bankruptcy? Be real and unbiased and give your expert opinion for traders and investors. It looks like a dead cow, yet retail falling for it. Then you have the CEO buyback stock and pump and lure us in dirty. Let's see where we can go over this real quick. All right. If I have to do a follow-up, I don't think I need a follow-up on this because I'm out. I don't see, again, going back into a bankrupt company, or if even if they're not filing bankruptcy, it's very weird. And they're filing for Chapter 11, which means if you're a retailer, you think you're going to get your money back. No, you're not. You're the last person to get anything back, which is nothing left over. And ironically, they're projecting something, the earning is coming on August. See this? 26 August 2025 is the earning. They're earning an estimate of 190 whatever million. They keep losing money, massive amount of money. I don't know how this is going to happen unless something like crazy, like they're looking for money from the government or whatever. It's a cheap act or something. All right, keeping that aside, what's happening to Wolfspeed after bankruptcy reports? Imminent Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. Multiple credible sources, including the Wall Street Journal, Reuters, and Seeking Alpha, report that Wolfspeed is preparing to file a prepackaged Chapter 11. Yeah, but when was this? See that? While restructuring is $6.5 billion debt. $6.5 billion in debt. The company has rejected out-of-court restructuring proposals, opting for a comprehensive solution to its debt issues. Exactly. Because I just told you, they want to keep the retail in the corner. Wolfspeed stock plummeted over 50-70%. Shares trading below $1. You see this here? Reflecting 99% decline from their peak. 99%, dude. Financial and operational struggles. Wolfspeed is grappling with $6.5 billion debt load against just $1.3 billion in cash as of March 31st, 2025. Yeah, but I want the latest one, which is close, April and May, right? See that when I mentioned the CHIPS Act? And look at this here. Wolfspeed has, the company has cut its 2026 revenue outlook to $850 million, significantly below consensus expectations. It's cutting down its revenue in the forecasting. And I don't know how nobody sees this. And also on top of that, Wolfspeed has reduced its workforce by 25% from 5,000 employees. It reduced this by 25%. That's massive. And then it says Wolfspeed was expected to receive up to $750 million from the CHIPS and Science Act to bolster domestic semiconductor production, but delays and debt-related conditions have hindered access to these funds. There you go. There was, okay, leadership changes. Wolfspeed fired CEO Greg Lowe in November 24, with Robert appointed as a new CEO effective 1st May. See that? This happened earlier last month. Chief Financial Officer Neil Reynolds is set to leave by the end of June 25. And David Emerson was named Chief Operating Officer, like we discussed, like shown you. These changes signal an attempt to stabilize operations amid the crisis, but rapid turnover may undermine confidence. Then I said CEO stock buyback. You mentioned the CEO stock buyback, suggesting it might be a tactic to pump and lure with investors. However, there is no recent evidence, okay, in the provided data or broader reports confirming the CEO stock buyback. This could be misunderstanding or reference, okay. Unrelated insider activity. Let's address the possibility and context. No confirmed buyback. Potential misinterpretation. You might be referring to options trading activity that preceded the bankruptcy news. Okay, all right. I see. Traders purchased large volumes of put options. Holy man. On Wolfspeed stock betting on a sharp decline. Can you imagine that? While some people actually lost money thinking it's going to go up, there are people who bet on this to go down and made millions of dollars. Yeah, short the company that's going to go bankrupt, leading to speculation of insider knowledge. See that? So I could be right to some level. Insiders had some knowledge prior to everybody else, so they did massive options. Hypothetical buyback scenario. If a CEO buyback did occur, it could signal confidence in a turnaround. But given Wolfspeed's dire financials, it would more likely be perceived as a desperate attempt to prop up the stock price. In bankruptcy, equity holders are typically wiped out. You see this here? What I just told you? In bankruptcy, equity holders are typically wiped out or severely diluted, making insider buying risky and potentially misleading to retail investors. All right, retail investor sentiment falling for dead cow. Why retail is falling for it? Hope for a turnaround because of the CHIPS Act. All right, listen, if it goes up, if you buy it, awesome. I'm just presenting you, okay, what I'm seeing. Bankruptcy misconceptions. Retail investors may misunderstand Chapter 11, viewing it as a restructuring opportunity rather than a potential equity wipeout. Pre-packaged bankruptcies can allow companies to emerge stronger, but shareholders can often lose more or all value. So if you're an insider or CEO, I don't know why you're watching my video. You're not supposed to, right? Unless you want to front run my stuff and whatnot. But if you're a retailer, you're watching this for a reason, you are wiped out. I'm just saying, the shareholders often lose most or all the value. That's what happens in Chapter 11, bankruptcy. Even with the FTX and other places, right? Social media hype. Reddit communities have accused media outlets of spreading conspiracies, dismissing bankruptcy reports as exaggerated. Options trading buzz. The heavy put option activity and subsequent stock crash have drawn attention on X. Yeah. Is a dead cow. The data paints us a grim picture. 6.5 billion in debt, collapsing revenue, and competitive pressure from China makes survival challenging. Wolfspeed's auditor issued a going concern warning, and analysts like those seeking alpha have sell ratings, citing no path to profitability. We've also seen a lot of people who put money in there, like analysts, they were not always right. But all the data is telling me something, unless some miracle happens, which is like, I don't know. Like a wolf randomly appears out of nowhere and like runs like in speed and takes the company forward, right? If not, it's a dead wolf. In Chapter 11, debt holders, example, Apollo, are prioritized. Apollo? Yeah, I mean, of course, they're prioritized. They will probably get everything else, whatever remaining. And equity investors are likely to be wiped out or heavily diluted. The Motley Fool's notes a narrow path to avoid bankruptcy, but management's preference for Chapter 11 suggests limited options. This is something that retail is not understanding. They are thinking, and I'm telling you this is real. The biggest players, Apollo, if I'm not wrong, they're going to get everything or whatever remaining from that money, they get it first. And anything that's remaining which is not there, how do you have anything remaining? It's not going to be there. They are the one given to so-called retail, which is not going to happen. However, Wolfspeed's SIC technology remains valuable and a restructured company could emerge viable. Okay. Expert opinion for traders and investors. As an AI with critical perspective, here's my unbiased take. For short-term traders, avoid long positions. The stock 59 to 70% single-day drop and ongoing bankruptcy talks make bullish bets extremely risky. Options caution. The heavy put option activity before the bankruptcy news suggests sophisticated players are betting against Wolfspeed, as seen with the 3.7 million bearish premium on May 20th. So the sophisticated players are actually betting against it, like they're shorting the market, the company. And also, then let's not forget the Chinese and the China being a viable player here. You have that along with the uncertainty in economy. That's your recipe for disaster. Or at least I would say, I don't see any recovery anytime soon or maybe never. Right? And don't blame me. I'm just reading from AI. All right. Monitor news. Watch for updates on the bankruptcy filing, creator agreements, and CHIPS Act funding. For long-term investors, high risk, low reward. Yeah, strategic value exists. Like I said, it does, but again, you have competition and uncertainty. Wait for clarity. Avoid investing until the bankruptcy process concludes. A restructured Wolfspeed. Yeah. Retail investors. Optimism is largely misguided. Sub-$1 price and social media hype creates a false sense of value. That's the problem. And you know the reason I do this? Oh, here. Hurt sports bankruptcies show equity holders often lose everything in Chapter 11. The Reddit conspiracy theories lack evidence and ignore Wolfspeed structural issues. That said, retail sentiment can drive short-term pops. Another reason I'm showing you this is because whether you do in crypto or whatever, this is extremely important. A lot of people see this as an opportunity. Why? Oh my God, what if it goes back to all-time high? I'll like be a giga millionaire or whatever. It's not always the case. It's not. There are people buying and shorting the market at like even $1 and making millions. You're like, how? Dilution. Like, why would somebody sell at like micro something? Because they keep printing more to give their shareholders first, and then they'll give the others. I mean, this is the point I'm trying to make. And that can happen. All right. Hertz is one of the examples. The Hertz post bankruptcy. And then you have all the manipulation, like I said, on Reddit and forums. People are just to pump it up for their own benefits so they can cash out. I'm just giving you a real life scenario. That's it. Critical perspective. The established narrative aligns on Wolfspeed collapse, but retail distrust stems from broader skepticism of media and institutional motives. While conspiracy theories are unfounded. All right. Final take. Wolfspeed is not quite a dead cow, but it's on life support with a poor prognosis. The bankruptcy filing, massive debt, and competitive pressures make it toxic investment for now. I'm just going to leave it there. If you have specific details about the eligible, yeah. You see this? This is where you get prompting. Now, if I'm like, okay, I found this news somewhere else. Here is it. Can you clarify this, validate this? You give more details, information to AI, is going to give you a little better responses. But anyway, I don't need to care about the so-called stock buyback and all that. I just wanted to get a clarification on overall, and I hope I was able to present it to you properly. You can see everything right there, okay, step by step. Wanted to tell you about the price, the earnings, the CEOs leaving, the bankruptcy, Chapter 11 filing, all of these, and so you can make a better decision. All right, and this is just not only Wolfspeed. I'm also doing this so you can see there are a lot of other companies and projects that'll come out sooner or later will be similar to this Wolfspeed. So that's why I said it's important. From the beginning, when I said the set of buy limit and whatnot, very important. So again, ladies and gents, thanks for watching. And yeah, stay tuned. I'll do whatever I can. There's a video coming up on gold and silver, which will turn a lot of people. Hey, you gold boomer, gold, silver, no, crypto. All right. But just watch and take what is useful to you, ignore the rest. I like all of these. I like all wealth. You can just pick one if you want to. That's up to you. Or you can just be on my side and be like, yeah, I want abundance and diversification. How about that? Fair enough? So yeah, thanks for watching. And if you like what you see, please subscribe and turn on the notification, and I'll see you in the next video. The reason I said turn on the notification, I'm doing this video at 5 a.m. right now, while Americans are sleeping, I guess. Not all of them, but yeah. So I just do video whenever I feel like impromptu, no schedule, nothing. So just saying, turn on notifications so you don't miss any. All right? Right, I'm out. Peace for now.